Hi, Stuart. I have a question.
Yes, Lucia.
Um, so today I sort of felt and realized that love is like indiscriminate, and it gave me a bit of a fright. Um, it felt good, but it also felt sort of unnerving. And I wondered if you could talk a bit more about your time in the prisons, working with people, that would have done really terrible things. And
I,
yet,
I didn't understand the last part of this. What did you?
working when you worked in the prisons, I wondered if you could talk a bit more about that, about how love flows everywhere to everyone, no matter what they
Well,
have
you know,
done.
I worked in a lot of prisons in my life. Texas, and Oregon, and in New York. Um, and one of the first things I tell people is that what happened in the past is in the past. And if you want to build an inner life, to build a, please try and sit still. Hello? Ronnie, try and sit still, please. If you want to build a strong inner life, anything that's ever happened to you is like a shadow. It doesn't exist anymore. And one has to be able to learn how to focus their attention so that one can live in the moment. And I said, whatever you did in the past, you did in the past. And whatever happened to your life because of it. Okay, now at this point in your life, you have to build a strength and a situation inside yourself that is strong enough to truly, learn how to elevate your humanity. And, the women there used to just cry, they would just, they'd come in looking bedraggled and beaten up. And by the time they left, they would like flowers. They were just beautiful. It was really interesting. And to hear somebody to say, look, all right, you committed a crime. You did something and you wound up here. And trust me, here was no bargain. All you hear all day are steel doors clanging. And I said, but you have an opportunity to take this terrible situation that you're living in and transform it into something that makes you into a remarkable human being. And this is the way I not only them, I talk to everybody this way. Everybody has their own personal prison, that they live in. Emotional prisons, economic prisons. People are so wrapped up in problems and, they're living in their own self-created prison, that instead of using this moment to transform that prison into something amazing, they get sucked into the horror of it and get lost in it. Now, in order to transform it, it's what I started this class with. You need to build a chakra system that is strong enough to do it. How many times have I spoken? There are two elements. One of them is life itself. And we all know the power, the difficulty of what we have to deal with in life itself. Financial things, relationship things, all the stuff. It's just, crazy. Well, in order to deal with that, in order to not allow that to destroy us, we need to build a system inside that is strong enough to stay connected to spirit. Now, the second element to this is spirit. Spirit is infinite energy in the universe. It's the most powerful force imaginable. And in order to receive that energy and allow that energy to really work for us, We need to build a chakra system that's strong enough to do it. So the chakra system not only allows us to work out karma and live in the world, but it enables us to receive spiritual energy. That energy which can help us to further develop the chakra system and to give us the capacity to become happy people, people that have transformed all the bullshit of life into something, that has helped them to grow and help them to get happy and help them to live amazing lives. Now, I mean, look, I learned a lot of this teaching in prisons. I mean, I'll never forget. I've told stories especially when I was in Texas, and I mean, I used to every Sunday go to the prison. The prison was in Fort Worth, Texas. And I would get about anywhere between 8 and 10 inmates, 12 inmates. And every Sunday I would bring them out to my house. And they would have a day of relief. I would just go and get them. And I made an arrangement with the warden and with the prison system that I could do this. And they would come out to my house. The only rule, and it was really a strict one, no drugs. No drugs. If any of them got caught doing drugs, they would stop this program. Anyway, every weekend in my house, there was one of these inmates who I would bring out there, who I would always walk around a corner somewhere and find smoking a joint, getting stoned. And I told him he's got to stop it. He's got to stop it. And finally, he refused to stop it. How could you tell me that I can't, that kind of bullshit. So one day I met him in the prison yard and I said to him, look, I said, I no longer want you in this program that I'm having at the prison. I said, I will speak to the warden. Either you drop out without drama or you can drop out with a lot of drama. The warden is going to ask me why, and I'll have to tell him why. And I said, you personally can destroy this program for many, many, many people. And the guy said to me, you wouldn't have the courage to say this in front of all the other inmates. We used to do this class in the chapel. And I said to him, spare yourself the embarrassment. So we went to the chapel and I looked at him and in front of, there must have been 20 people there, 25 people, inmates. And I said to him, you're no longer to come to this class again. I said, you single-handedly are going to destroy this program for everybody sitting in this room. And as much as I don't want to kick you out of here, I have to kick you out of here. You cannot come back here again. If you come back here again, I'm going to go to the warden and I'm going to tell him exactly why I'm doing this. The guy disappeared, never came back. There was absolute silence in the room. It was unbelievable. You could hear a pin drop in that room. Anyway, to make a long story short, 3 or 4 years later, I'm sitting in my apartment in Denton, Texas, and there's a knock on the door. And there's this guy with a woman. And I said, oh shit, what's going to happen now? So I opened the door and he said, Stuart, I came here because I have to apologize to you. You were the best thing that ever happened to me in that prison. So he told me, and he said, and I blew it. He said to me, and I just came here. I've told my wife about you, and I wanted her to meet you, and I just came here to apologize. I mean, it brought tears to my eyes. It really did. And I said, I invited him in. We sat down. We had some tea, coffee, whatever. We spent a couple of hours talking, and it was extraordinary. It was extraordinary to transform a human being that way by having to kick him out of the meditation group because he would have destroyed the group for everybody. It was something. I mean, I learned so much doing that about people. And I mean, there was a guy in that prison named Charlie. I'll never forget Charlie. I mean, the guy was like, I mean, he was like Sylvester Stallone. He was this muscle-bound character, this guy. And he was arrested for two reasons. One, he ran franchise brothels in Houston, Texas. And the second one, he was arrested for bank robbery. And he used to come to every single class I used to teach, every one. And we were building a house on our property in Denton, beautiful house. I mean, it's still there. It's like a 3-story Tibetan temple. I mean, extraordinary house we built there. And when I brought these inmates out on Sunday, Charlie was one of the inmates. And I'm sitting and I see him walking across the ashram property with a carpenter's belt on. And I go up to him and I say, Charlie, what's up? I said, you don't have to. He said, no, Stuart. He said, I'm not a man of words. But I just want to tell you, what you did in that prison has helped me more than anything in my life. And I know about carpentry. I know about stuff like that. And I want to contribute something to help you and the people here. It's incredible to touch this humanity in inmates in prisons. And it's not only those two, there were so many of them that it was amazing, It changed my life. It made me arrive at a place where I never judge anybody. I don't give a shit about what anybody's done in the past. All I care about is, do they want to change in the present? And working in prisons that way created that kind of mentality inside myself. Where, I've had street people come to I've had, God knows, people, all kinds of people. And I don't care what people have done in the past. And working in prisons, doing this work, it taught me that people can change. People can grow. They can develop an inner life that gives them a connection with spirit. So, yes, it was not easy to do this. But my God, the value, what I learned, how I grew, probably grew more than all those people together by doing that, by just learning how to not judge anybody and how to accept them and make it possible for them to grow if they are willing to work in their life in the present. They're not willing to work and they want to create bullshit, they get kicked out. Unabashedly, it's time to leave. So this is part of this work, is using it in the world as a service to God, as a service to humanity. And I'll never forget, I did that for 6 years, 6 years in Texas. And finally, I got so busy, I couldn't go there anymore. I was teaching all over the world, teaching all over America. I mean, I had such a busy life. And I stopped going. And one day I'm sitting I had an art gallery there, and I'm sitting in the gallery. And the chaplain from the prison walks into my gallery. And I look at him and I said, Chaplain Ames, wonderful to see you, but what are you doing here? So he said to me, Stuart, never forget this as long as I don't know what you do. He said, I don't even know if I believe in what you do. This was a devout Christian, this man. He said, but what you have done in that prison has done more to change people than anybody I've ever seen in the 20 years that I've been working there. And I have come up here to beg you to come back. I mean, it was incredible, I don't even know if I believe in what you do. The guy was a devout believer in Christ, a Christian. But I've never seen anything work like what you do in that prison. And I'm begging you or somebody who can continue doing what you do has to come back. And I started sending students of mine to the prison to teach because I figured it would be a good way for them to learn. I mean, like Chris, she used to teach at Rikers Island, for God's sake. If there's a hellhole on the world, it's Rikers Island, truly a hellhole. I mean, I used to go out there, I don't know, every couple of weeks with her and teach a class. And she would go out there once or twice a week and teach these people, you know? It's got to change you. You have to see the world differently. When I used to teach at Sing Sing, for God's sake, you can't believe what a place that is. But it changed me to say, I don't care what people have ever done in the past. I'm only interested, do they want to change in the present? The past is dead, doesn't exist anymore. Why hold on to it? Do we want to change in the present?
Stuart, I have a question.
Yes.
What if somebody is an alcoholic and they somewhat want to change, but not give up the basic addiction?
Well, there's nothing you can do for them until they finally say, I want to change. And I'm willing to do whatever I can. I mean, I used to have, I mean, I used to have, uh, I used to have alcoholics, people that were members of Alcoholics Anonymous in New York. They used to study with me. And they, you know, I mean, it wasn't easy. I used to have a girlfriend, for God's sake, you know, who was was a member of Alcoholics Anonymous, and she used to study with me. And I had an Alcoholics Anonymous meeting in my loft, and there must have been 100 to 200 people there in celebration of her 10th year of sobriety. And I would go to all these, some, not all of them, but some of these meetings, and they were unbelievable. They were better than Broadway shows. You know, what used to go on there was extraordinary. You know, so people have to want to change, whether they're alcoholics, whether they're into drugs, whatever their situation is. If they want to change, if they want to make the effort, and it takes a monumental effort to change, even if you're not into any of that stuff, it takes a monumental effort to change. They have to be willing to make that effort. If they're willing to make that effort, I will do anything I can under the sun for them, 100%.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, thank you.
So if your friend is interested, it's like your daughter, same way, you know. And with the email she sent, I got this, I got that, I got the other, and the other. I don't give a shit. You want to change? Come and I'll do everything I can to help you. You know? I mean, God knows when Rudy first met me, the first thing he told me, no more drugs. The first thing he told me.
And what did he say about alcohol?
Well, look, alcohol is a no-brainer, you know? I mean, you can have a glass of wine. It's not going to affect you. It's not going to kill you. But if you're going to drink a bottle of scotch every day, you know, you're going to become like a zombie. You know, there's nothing wrong with it. I mean, I have no problems with people have a glass of wine for dinner. I'm not so righteous. That's to me nonsense. But to watch people drink themselves into oblivion, I mean, no. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to take them in my classes. Mm-hmm. You know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I just have a practical question. The American meetings, which days are those?
The American what?
The meditations.
The in-person meditation?
Or no, the Zoom.
Oh, I sent you you're
one,
on the list.
Yeah. I'm on the list, so it will arrive.
You get an invitation. You're on the list. It's Sunday, Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday at 7:30 in the evening. So it's pretty late where you are, you know?
Yeah. That's why I have to set my alarm to wake up in the 1 o'clock at night. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Okay.
they're every Sunday, Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday.
Thank you.
And you'll get an invitation. You want to come? If you're willing to get up at 2 in the morning, at 1 in the morning, how can I say no? You know, okay, my God, you're more than welcome. Does anyone else have a question they would like
Yes,
to?
I want to say something. Galit. First of all, I want to say thank you. My life is much, much better now. I can feel it every day. And I'm just worried a little bit that I bring too much pain and you're taking too much, you and Ellie and the group. And just
I can take your pain and transform it into a spiritual life. I have learned how to do that. I can take the pain of everyone sitting in this class and transform it into a spiritual life. I have learned how to do that. So please continue to grow. Don't worry about these things. Build yourself, grow, get stronger. You're wonderful. I told you that the first day you came to class. You have a tremendously deep need for a spiritual life. And don't let anything interfere with it. And don't worry about me. I have a lot of support and years and years and years of training in how to do this.
And Ellie?
Hmm?
And Ellie?
And Ellie has training too, or he wouldn't do it, you know? He wouldn't do it. And what we want to do is get you training. Maybe someday you can do it. Help people this way. Does anyone else have a question they would like to raise? Okay. If there are no more questions, there will be a class on Tuesday. God bless you all and thank you. I'm looking forward to seeing everybody. And as I tell you all the time, I come here, I grow because of this. And I just have nothing but gratitude for each and every one of you. So bless you. And I'm looking forward to seeing you Tuesday.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank
Stuart.
you, Stuart.
Bye.
Thank you, Stuart.
You're welcome.